Hey geeks, it's Minx. It's time for another Game of Thrones review. We were greeted with another great episode. If you haven't watched it yet, don't watch this review because I'm going to be doing spoilers. So let's just jump into it, shall we? This episode had some crazy shit happen in it. And it doesn't seem that crazy unless you actually think about it a little bit. We had Jon meeting Dany for the first time, and there was some tension of going between them. I totally ship it, even though she's technically his aunt. I think they're going to end up together in some way or another. I just see that as being where it goes. But a lot of good tension between them, both of them being stubborn. We got a really funny part where Missandei is pretty much acting as the herald for Dany, speaking all of her titles, Breaker of Change, Mother of Dragons, yada yada. And then you have Davos step up to be herald to Jon Snow, and he says, "This is Jon Snow, the King of the North." That part was really funny. Davos bringing the levity for the scene. So that was actually pretty fun to watch. They're back and forth. Jon trying to convince her about the White Walkers and the Army of the Dead and the fact that the war that she's waging with Cersei isn't going to matter in the end because everyone will end up dead if the Night King wins. Tyrion convinces Dany to give Jon what he wants, which is the dragon glass that is, throughout Dragonstone, as kind of a showing of good faith, to hopefully make him an ally in the time to come. We have Cersei being a sadistic bitch with Ellaria and Tyene Sand, pretty much giving Tyene the kiss of death, much like Ellaria did to her daughter, and then pretty much telling her, you're gonna, with them chained to the opposite walls, saying you're gonna watch her die a slow death, you're gonna watch her decay. I want the torches in the room to be changed every few hours so she can just watch her die. That was pretty fucked up, and apparently Cersei got a huge raging boner out of it because she goes and jumps Jaime's bones. They end up in bed together. So you got that going for it. I have to say that was pretty cruel. Another funny part was, Euron Greyjoy bringing forth Ellaria and her daughter and dropping them off as a gift, and then going over and asking Jaime, how does she like it in bed, pretty much, giving proof that is the worst kept secret in all of Westeros, is the fact that, Jaime and his sister bone. So there's that. He even asked him if she liked it in the butt. The look on Jaime's face was priceless. It was kind of a beat up on Jaime kind of episode, especially based on something that happens later in the episode. The main Lannister forces, instead of being at Casterly Rock, where Dany sent the Unsullied, actually marched on Highgarden and took out Highgarden's armies with the help of Randall Tarley, Sam's dad. And he comes up to Olenna, the Queen of Thorns, who I hope I go out like. They have a discussion, about, so this is the end then. And, it's just turned Jaime. And she's trying to give him some advice, watch out for Cersei. And she's like, so how's it going to be? And he says, well, she wanted to behead you, and then she wanted to hang you from the walls of the Red Keep, but I convinced her otherwise. And she's like, and how to, and he pulls out a small vial and pops the cork and drops it in some wine for her. And she says, will it be painful? And he says, no, I made sure of that. And so she takes the wine glass and she just chugs it like a champ. Like she ain't got no worries. She drank it faster than some of my buddies who can chug a beer. She sets it down. She looks Jaime straight in the eye and says, I'm glad, because what it looked like when your son, died, turning purple and whatnot. And she pretty much tells Jaime, I'm responsible for the death of Joffrey. She calls Joffrey a cunt. And, pretty much spills the beans that she was behind his death. And she looks straight at him and says, tell Cersei, because I want her to know. And the look on his face is one of like pissed offness, but at the same time just almost broken. And Olenna, and then then he just leaves the room and leaves her to her, her death or whatever. This episode, I just was blown away. Savage as all fuck. Lady Olenna, I hope I can go out with half the dignity that she showed and the badassery that was Lady Olenna. This episode, I'm going to give a solid A-. There was some tension. You finally got the main two characters everyone cares about meeting. You have Cersei, showing some actual martial prowess. You have Lady Olenna going out like a champ, and just being savage as fuck. You've got Euron Greyjoy showing that he's kind of a crazy mofo. All in all, great episode. I'm looking so forward to next week, and I hope you guys are too. If you enjoyed this review, please click that little button down there that says subscribe so you can catch my next one. And the thumbs up helps as well. I want to know, what did you guys think of the episode? Let me know in the comments down below, because I love talking about my favorite shows. If you want to catch last week's episode reminder, click right there. And if you want to see my top 5 book theories that were proven on the show, click right there. And as always, I will see you next week. Later, oncers.